Not very scenic looking weather today. Very cloudy, and you can see a lot of the trees are actually swaying back and forth. I guess the wind is picking up. And what's going on today? It's kind of interesting reading this one here. A lot of drone companies focus on trying to make their drones fly longer, carry more payload, but how about focusing a lot more on things, for example, trying to make the drone fly in various weather conditions. This one says, Japan tests safe drone flights for winter search and rescue. Compared to helicopters, the preparation time for flying drones is shorter, and searches can be done at lower altitude, leading to the early detection of victims. As small drones are considered vulnerable in cold weather, the Hokkaido prefectural government has started a project to demonstrate the flying of drones in winter. Through this project, the prefectural government aims to build up expertise to safely use drones in snowy weather and freezing conditions, promote their use, and compile guidelines. On February 8th, a demonstration was held under the scenario that a man had been in an avalanche. The weather that day was minus 12 degrees Celsius and snowing. In harsh sub-zero temperatures, the challenges were the rapid depletion of the battery and the freezing of the propellers. Before the test flights, participants checked that there were no other people around and that the camera and propellers on their drones were not covered with snow or dirt. They then double-checked the safe flight procedures. During the demonstration, a drone searched for a man in the scenario from about 50 meters above ground. Equipped with a regular camera and a thermal camera, the drone successfully found the person by detecting the man's body heat. Battery power is one of the biggest issues, I guess, during the cold from my experience anyways. It dies a lot faster. Then again, usually when I try flying in colder weathers, I usually do it pretty fast compared to a normal time, so that basically helps. That way you quickly fly it, bring it down, check if anything's wrong and so forth. If you need to heat it up or potentially wipe anything, then you can wipe it. But what have I found too, when it comes to like snow, for example, the drones actually come out really dry in a lot of cases. Obviously, it should be actual snow and not, let's just say, wet snow like it's raining. This got me to think too, because I've had personal experiences where there were officials, for example, didn't understand the law, or at the same time there's laws around the world that stops you from using drones to save people's lives because it's so over the top. And this one here says, as deregulation continues regarding drone flight rules, the Hokkaido prefectural government also hopes to use drones for logistics and infrastructure development. I found that interesting in terms of them saying deregulation, because they created all these, like, say, over-the-top regulations in a lot of places, and now you're kind of going back. It's kind of weird to think about in that sense, because again, a lot of places, they are extremely over the top in terms of people using the tech. And how about this of a large drone? This one says, IDEX, TAI shows off its largest drone. The TAI Asunger is a twin-engine, medium-altitude, long-endurance, uncrewed aerial vehicle and uncrewed combat air vehicle developed from the Anka S. Is that bigger than a Predator, for example? Or is it about the same size? It says it was originally known as the Anka 2 before adopting the Asunger name and designed for the tactical surveillance and reconnaissance by the Turkish armed forces. However, it has increasingly been adapted for armed missions using a variety of weapons. Largely based on existing technology from the earlier Anka family of UAVs, the Asunger has a twin-tail, twin-boom configuration and is powered by a pair of Tusas Engine Industries TEIPD 170 dual turbocharged diesel engines, each driving a 3-bladed tractor propeller. In terms of how much it can actually lift, according to this, it's 500 kilograms. It lasts for about 12 hours as an attack or maritime patrol aircraft for up to 24 hours. And the last thing I read made me wonder if this was legitimate. It dealt with that news I mentioned before, where it was kind of odd how no one was really covering it as much, where in Ohio there was a train that crashed, they blew it up, it released all these chemicals and so forth, and apparently a lot of people are getting sick, there's animals dying. Well, it seems like there's claims that this pollution actually went up north to Canada, for example, around Ontario or areas in Quebec. So some people like this person posted this saying what? Post it in a local KFC, not a peep from CBC Alert, CP24, Global News. It's a sign here that kind of indicates there's problems with the water. Like it says here, caution, the water in the local area and possibly the entire GTA is contaminated with these, I guess, chemicals. And it says, please be very careful and boil the water for an extended period of time. Now it says things like what, City of Toronto and all that, but it just doesn't seem real. Unless it is, I don't know, is anyone around the area? And as expected, there were people asking whether or not this is real. Like, for example, people writing here, this looks fake. But they say, hey, they took a picture of it. And it says, I didn't suggest you made it up, but does this look like an official letterhead from the city? And they kind of confirm, like, of course they don't. But at the same time, they say they took a picture and that's where it is. But is there an issue actually for people around that area? Like I said before, it's kind of interesting where it sounds pretty big to me in terms of that story, but it's not being covered. So if this is true, where this is happening in those areas here in Canada, again, people should be on high alert, huh? But again, I don't know if it's true or not, so that's up for the locals. Is there anything wrong going up there that you notice? All right, see you guys later.